Hey everybody, it's Rachelette from Moments to Milestones, and we're going to put together our latest kit, and this is a Christmas card kit featuring Mint and Mistletoe from Kaisercraft. So here's a peek at the cards we're going to make today. We're going to make 7 cards in total. Kit looks like this, always written instructions with a picture of the finished card and the supplies we used at the back. And we are going to start with this one, and this is like a step fold, trifold card kind of. So we're going to start with that one. I'm going to place it right over here to the side. And then we'll get out our kit. All right, so we'll start by putting our base together. So you are going to have a normal top fold card, and then you're going to have this piece that has 2 score lines. So we have one in the middle there, and so I'm going to score that. I'm just going to reinforce the score line. And then you have another one right here, and I'm going to fold that back onto itself. And that is where we're going to put the adhesive. So we're going to open that up and put adhesive right there. I'm just going to use some wet glue. And with your card, the front panel, you're going to glue, this is the front panel of the card, you're going to glue it behind, like so. So one way to do it is to get it where you want it. Press it down. And now you have your card opening like that. And I can see mine doesn't quite match up, so I'm actually going to trim that. Looks like it was just a tad bigger. All right. Now it's the same size. Okay, so we're gonna put these. You have this blue wood paper. You should have a large piece and a strip. So we're gonna put that right here. So it's kind of, the card will still open, you can still write a greeting in there, but we're going to decorate that front panel. It should have an even white border all the way around. Okay, and then you have 2 green striped papers. So we're going to take the smallest, thinnest strip and put that at the bottom of the blue. All right. And now we're going to take, so you're going to have the green on top and the blue on bottom. So it's up to you which one you put, which one you want to put on top. It doesn't really matter. It would just mean your green would be even. So I'm actually going to put the blue down and then the green on top, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to leave that same border that we left with the blue on the back panel. And then we'll go ahead and put on the green. Okay, now it looks like that. I'm going to set this aside and we are going to make our trees. So you should have 3 rectangle pieces, and what we're going to do is make triangles out of them. So really the easiest way to do is put them in front of you so they're standing tall. We don't want them like this. And if you are a person who likes to measure, you get out a ruler, measure it. And remember, if this was 3 inches, mark it, and then we're going to cut from the middle. The easiest way to do it is to take this paper and fold it in half and just put a little pinch. And then I'm going to take a pencil and just mark that. And now I'm going to take my trimmer and I am going to put, there's the mark I made here, and here's the other corner. And I'm going to make that cut, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we have 1 tree. I'm going to repeat that process for the other 2 trees. Okay, I have my trees cut, so I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the card together. I'm going to open this up, and my largest tree is going to go right in the center of that. All right, and then these 2 trees, I just have staggered like so. So I'm going to leave that card closed to do that. I don't want to see this gap right here where that white pokes through, so I really want to cover that up and stagger them. And I'm just going to hold that one right where it is and put some adhesive behind it. And then on this one, I'm going to go right there. I'm going to grab it, and no, I don't need any adhesive on the top because we don't want to glue our card together. Okay, oops, cover that up. There we go. All right, so now your card looks like that. You should have a silver piece of paper. It's craft on the back, so if you just flip it over. And that's going to go here, and your sentiment's going to go in the center. And I popped it up. And because we're dealing with a Kaisercraft paper pad, the sentiments come from the back of the pad, so I don't have another sentiment that looks just like that, so I kind of forgot to grab my pad where I could grab a different one. But for now, I'm just going to put the circle there, and I can put in a sentiment later. I'm going to put that there, and now I'm going to put on these snowflakes. So they may have, this is wax paper that we put to help the dies release, so you can just pull that off and discard it. And I'm going to glue my snowflakes onto the front panel only of the tree. So what I'm going to do is just, whoops, put some glue in a couple strategic spots, and then I'm going to lift and put it, that way I know right where I want it. So it's touching the trees there, there, and there. And then I can go back, like down here, I'm going to put some on the swirls so they don't pull up. And you can do the same on each little snowflake. All right, so I have my snowflake on there. Then you should have left remaining, you're going to have some snowflakes that are in a press and seal, and you have some jewels that are taped together. So I apologize if these are hard to get out. We found in card class it was easiest to just cut up next to them because there's kind of an air bubble, and then you can get it open that way. And you just want to carefully pull it back so they don't pop everywhere. Just gonna pull them off the tape and put them on my mat here. I'm gonna also pull off my snowflakes and have those ready to go. Okay. I'll grab my jewel picker and we will start laying them down. So I have a large jewel in the center of this snowflake. And then I have another one right here. And then I have a couple snowflakes. So I have one here and here. That one. Another one here and here. My glue ones keep making bubbles. All right, and then I'm going to open my card because on the inside, you can see over here, I have a couple snowflakes there. You will have one leftover snowflake, so it's up to you if you want to find a place for it, or you can leave it off. I think I'm just going to leave mine off. The die cuts all those snowflakes at once, so we just gave you everything it cut. All right, so now I have a small jewel inside that snowflake. I have one here and here. Really just scattering them from the bottom left to the top right. So whatever you like. I also have one inside this snowflake. This snowflake. And then one on this snowflake. All right, we have two more jewels. I have one here and one down here. All right, and that finishes that card. Obviously, you'll put the sentiment in the center of that. Okay, our next card is May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. And we're gonna start this card with some inking if you choose. So I used Vintage Photo Distress ink and a sponge. And I'm gonna do everything in here. You have lots of strips of paper, sentiment circles, and some die cuts. So I will do that and I will be right back. All right, so I have everything inked. I'm going to start by putting down the craft onto the white card base. Okay, so then what we're going to do is you have all these strips and we're going to line up. Now you should have two strips that are shorter than all the others. Those are going to be your outside pieces. And the other ones. Now on this card I have all the pieces butted up next to each other, and that's why we ink the edges so that they you can see the difference in each strip. If you don't like that they're all butted up together. You can take out a strip, and then you can have a gap of the craft show through. And then you're just going to stagger them. And then if you don't like the way they stagger, you can always trim them down. Okay, so we did have some people in class who liked that better, and I actually think I may like it better too. So I'm gonna do this one different so you can see the difference. And then once you get them where you want them, we're just gonna put them down. So I'm gonna start with these strips on the outside. All right, so that's what it looks like. And now I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm actually going to glue this on. So I'm going to put that sentiment onto the craft. And I'm going to use it as a guide for a minute to place my greenery. So on the greenery, you have these 2 light green and you have 3 dark green. Now some of them may still need some of the little pieces punched out. So what I did on these 2 pieces is I'm going to snip these apart right here. Right where those 3 branches come in, I'm just going to snip off here. And you're going to end up with those pieces. I'm going to do that again. Okay, so you're going to end up with 4 light green pieces, and then I'm going to do the same thing on 1 of these. I'm just going to cut right here so that 1 branch is by itself and 2 by itself. Okay, and these 2 are going to get used at the bottom. And 1 of these as well. Okay, and then everything else is going to go up there. I'm going to set those aside. I'll do that last. So we're just going to start placing, and I'm just going to put a little glue on the back. We'll have some wiggle room while we play around with the placement. I'm just going to put some there and right here. So this is going to be about right there. And it looks like I've got one coming out here. So, and then I'm going to put one, this one, let's keep moving. There, there, it looks crazy, doesn't it? But then once you do that, so that's there, and then these down here, I'm going to put down the light green first. There. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this on. So one other option you could have done was to just put a piece of foam, I believe, in the center, and then you could have tucked things behind. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the foam on that. Place the sentiment down, and then you have these 2 pieces of twine, and you're going to need a glue dot. I'm just going to put them together like so, and I'm going to tie a bow. So this is a waxed cord, so you can fiddle with it a little bit and get it to maneuver. I'm going to trim those so they're somewhat even. Okay. And I'm going to stick that right there. So glue dot. Just going to stick that on there like so. There's the bow. And then we're going to finish again with these, those same jewels like we used in the last card. So you'll have to get those off the tape in the same manner. Okay. I'm just going to take them off the tape. So I kind of have them scattered this way with a few on the sentiment, kind of emphasizing the little sparkles that are already there. So I think you have 7. So I'm going to put 3 up here. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Oops, that's going to have to be a big one. 1, 2, 3. And then I have 2 down here. And I'll put 1 there and 1 there. All right, so that completes that card, and you can see the difference where you can see the brown behind. So you can decide what you like better before you put it together. All right, our next card is Peace on Earth. All right, you do have some little rhinestones you don't want to lose in your kit. So we will start putting down the craft paper onto your white card base. And then you have silver, which is craft on the back. And that is going to go centered on the craft. You have a very thin craft border. Okay. And then you should have this, it's lace paper, and it really doesn't matter if your lace is going up or down. I think mine is going up, and that thing I'm going to put it down this time because that seems more like how it should be, but no one's really going to know. All right, so we're just going to center that at the top. I'll have an even border on the sides and the top, and then it's going to be bigger at the bottom. That's okay. We just want it to show through our window. And so on this, I popped that piece up. So I'm going to use a low profile tape. You can see how thin that is. All right, I'm going to remove the backing here and place this onto the card centered. All right. And now you have this pretty snowflake, and it is going to go in the center. So I'm going to grab that, flip it over, and put some glue on the back. Place that in the center of the circle. Okay, and now we have this piece here, which actually looks like it's cut too long. So I'm going to trim that off. Looks like it should be 3 7/8. And I'm going to do the same for this silver piece, which you could have put those on before you put the blue on, then that would have been easy to just use a straight edge, but that's okay. That works. So I'm going to put that on the bottom of the blue snowflake. You have to be so careful with this blue paper. If you get any glue on there, it is going to show up. And so now I'm going to put a very thin line of glue. Okay, and I'm going to put this silver strip right over the top of that. All right. A little too much. All right. So that is on there, and then you should have this Peace on Earth ticket that came from the back of your paper pad, which I don't have one. I may go get my paper pad so I can pick some out. Right, so I went and found my sentiments, and I put that, I'm going to use this green Merry Christmas one. And I did pop mine up on this card since I used the thin profile. On this card I did not, so I didn't feel like I needed to use more foam. So it's up to you. You can use no foam at all if you don't want the bulk on your card. But now I'm going to add these rhinestones to these two spots on the sentiment. So I'm just getting I like to use a craft knife. And these are like a string of rhinestones, so you may need to cut that adhesive between them so you don't get them both at once. So put one there and one there. And that finishes that card. All right, next we're going to do our Slimline Peace on Earth. So now some of your words may have wax paper, so you're going to want to make sure you get that off. You can usually tell by looking at it, you kind of see it's shiny and it shouldn't be shiny. And then you have these little rhinestones you don't want to lose. So I'm going to put that stuff up there. And we're going to start by putting these, you have these two white squares and a green one. We're going to put them behind our window panel here. So I'm going to flip over the window panel, and I'm just going to put some glue around the circle. I'm going to start with this one. I'll do the other white one on the bottom. And then this other green one, and now it just fits. All right. So I have those on there, and then this is going to get glued straight down to the card. I didn't use any foam here. You're going to have a real thin white border. I like using wet glue because you got a little wiggle room. You can get it right where you want it. All right, so that's done. And now you have these two silver embossed stars, and we are going to fussy cut those. And I didn't leave any border at all. I just cut right up to that line. And these are nice straight cuts, so this will go pretty quick. So I will cut those out and be right back. All right, I have my 2 stars fussy cut. All right, and so one's gonna go here and one is gonna go down here, and I don't have them centered. I have them offset a little bit. And I also have them popped up, so that's an option. It does take some work with these long skinny pieces if you don't want them to bend, or you can just glue them straight on. I do have some thin foam here that I am gonna use to pop them up. All right, I have my foam on. I'm going to pull the backings off. And place them on. So I have one down here. All right. This one is going to go up here at the top. And now I'm going to take my sentiment and center it in that center circle. Earth. All right, we have some little green snowflakes, and they are on press and seal. So I hope you don't have any trouble getting them apart. And I think you have 6, you only need 5, so, or you can use all 6, it's up to you. It just cuts 6 at a time, so that's easy. So I'm gonna scatter those. I have one down here by this star. I have one by Earth, 2 by Peace, and one up here. All right. Now once those dry, I am going to put those rhinestones on each snowflake. So I'm going to try, but if they're too wet, it might. They are tiny. They're just going to go in the center and just add a little bling. You could also use a little wet glue and some glitter too would do the trick. You definitely have to wait for the glue to dry from putting on the snowflakes if you're like me, because I used way too much glue. And one more. All right, Peace on Earth. That card is finished. Next, we have Joy to the World. And this is another card where I inked everything, so I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, I have everything all inked. So let's go ahead and put our card together. All right, we're going to start with the craft cardstock onto the white card base. Okay, and now we have the music note paper, and you're going to make sure there are words on there, that they're going the right way. And it is going to, you can center it, you can put it right at the top where it has the same border on the sides and the top, and not worry about the bottom, because we're going to cover that up. And that little piece is going to go there. Now what is going to be missing from my kit is these two pieces here were cut from the back of this. This is the paper pad we used. And in the back, there are bracket pieces that you can use. So maybe what I'll try to do, it really won't have the same effect. Well, I'm going to use the craft for up there. Well, I'm going to put craft. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to use the green. And because I do have another large green one as well. Let's see how that matches. Might be able to pull it off with the two different greens at the bottom. We'll see. We'll wait. Maybe we'll wait on that one. So you'll have your two blue brackets, and what you want to do on this one is put a little adhesive on the back and then add this first before we put that strip on. So it should look something like that. And then you can glue that on to the top there, okay? And then that goes right on top of that music paper. Okay, and then this other green strip will go on the bottom. All right, I did not get that straight over there, so now it's peeking out. That's okay. Nothing a little inking won't fix. Okay. So then we could put that down there, and then we have our greenery and our star. Yeah, I think I'll go for that, but I'm going to first ink the edges. I'm going to need to cut it as well, which I should have done. So I'm going to center it on there. I'm going to use a pencil to mark where I want to cut. There's one. Trimmer. You won't have to do this for yours because your bracket, well, you will have to trim it down. You'll have to trim down your blue bracket, but what you'll want to do is add it to the green strip first. Then you can just use a straight edge to trim that. Otherwise, you have to do what I just did, which is fine too. It worked. So then put your bracket piece on the bottom. All right, so now for the greenery. So I know I just have one piece like so. So I'm going to just use some wet glue. Tweezers, and I'm just going to put it right here. And then on this piece, I cut this in half. So what I'm going to do is right here where that stem just kind of naturally cuts. So I'm going to cut it right here, right there, and then you're left with these two pieces. Okay, so they're going to look like that. I'm going to tuck this one. Now you can use your star as a placement. I'm going to have this one come in there. Okay. And this one is going to go back in there. There we go. And then I did not pop up my star. You could if you wanted. You're going to pop up that sentiment on top of the star, so I decided to just glue it flat. Okay. And then you should have a Joy to the World strip that you're going to place right there. I'm going to see what I can find in the back of mine so I can finish off this card. We have a Peace, Joy, and Love. I think I like that. Just ink the edges. And then I did pop that piece up. And that is going to go right over that seam and overlap onto the star. Okay. And then our finishing touch are going to be, you have these 4 little stars. I'm going to put 3 at the bottom and 1 here at the top. So 1 there, here, here, here. There we go. That card is finished. Okay, we have 2 more cards. This one is Christmas Wishes. This is another one I did ink the edges. So if you like that clean look, you're not looking for that distressed look, you can just leave it and not do it and probably be all right without it. All right, we're gonna start by putting this blue pattern paper onto the white card base. And then your it looks like I just cut mine wrong. I hope not everybody's is cut wrong. It's a good possibility though, isn't it? One way to fix that, oh goodness, we didn't make this card in class, or I may have caught that. If it is too wide, if it's like shorter, maybe it doesn't bother you, just have a lot on top and a lot on the bottom. I'm going to shave a little bit off each side, just a little, because I have those stars cut out. About a 1/16 of an inch, just so it has more of an even border. I like that better. Apologize. Sometimes when I'm cutting, the measurements all seem the same, I guess. All right, so I'm going to put that on. I did not pop it up, I just put it straight on. And I have my big star. I have my big star at the top, so. Okay. And then we have our 3 little stars and our Christmas Wishes, which also I don't have. So let's see. We're going to use that one right there. Merry Christmas. Ink it up. All right, so I do have these stars up on foam. The 2 big ones. All right, and this one just sits off this star. So, and then this one, I'm gonna have that right there. So put one there, and then the other one's gonna get glued straight on. There it is. And I also popped up Merry Christmas, so let me, or yours says Christmas Wishes. Let me do that. is going to go right there. Okay, and we're going to finish. We're going to take this little piece of ribbon, or it's not ribbon, it's wax cord, and make the tiniest bow. My hands are all inky. All right, and I'm going to use glue dot again to stick that on. And I'm going to put it right in the center of that star right there. And that card is finished. We have one last card and we are done. We have this one here. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All right, this one will go together quick, no inking. So we're going to start with the white, whoops, not that one, the white embossed paper. Let's stick that one on. We're going to put it on the left side of your card base all the way to the edge. And then you should have a strip of silver and this very pretty green word paper. So what I'm going to do, and wet glue probably is a better choice here, but I just had that handy. And I am going to place it over the top so that I see just about 1/8 of an inch of that silver. I'm going to trim that, it's a little long, okay. And then this is going to go on the right side, or the left side of the card. I probably said the wrong side, your other left before. So this goes on this side. All right, so it looks like that. And then we're going to layer up our snowflakes. So we have one here, and here, and here. Okay, now I don't have that ticket, so let me see what other ticket I may have in here. So we have Merry Christmas. I kind of like the, I'm going to try the navy on there. Well, it might be pretty. Season's greetings. So this is popped up. So yours says Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Of course, if you like what I'm doing, you can go in your paper pad and get that out and use it instead. And it is going to go, I'm going to cross mine over. I didn't want to do that before because it was white. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to lay down these snowflakes. And then these snowflakes, I think we may have cut the wrong snowflakes for this card. These are quite a bit bigger, so you can play around with the placement of them. I mean, they're beautiful. So I'm just going to do it like that. Try to stick with the same what we had, just a little bit bigger. And one more. It's going to go right there. All right, now you will finish your card off. I don't see them in my kit, but you should have a strip of rhinestones to put on either side of your ticket. Not sure why I don't have those. I think I cut those last, so maybe I just forgot to put them in my kit, but that's fine. I will go add them later. But that finishes that card and the kit. All right, so that'll do it for our video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these Christmas cards, and have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you soon.